file signature, and so if I go to the exe, let me just say mz. So see mz, when I search for mz, it's tell me as it is a signature of Windows DOS executable file, right? So for any executable file which runs on Windows, the starting bits of that will be in hexadecimal format, will be 45A. Okay, I hope there is no issue in understanding this, what I'm trying to make you guys understand. Okay, so let me know if you have any kind of, if you require any kind of other clarification on this one. Okay, similarly, let's say if we have an image, let's say of JPG format, okay, of JPG format. So each image, the signature will always start with FFD8, okay. So that's how you can kind of figure out if that image, if that file that you are analyzing is what the correct extension of that. So even if, let's say here the malware was trying to hide the exe module as ABCD, but using this signature check, you can figure out that that file, what is the extension of that file? Is it an executable? Is it an image? So those are things you can figure out. So FTK Imager has a really good thing that it actually showcase you guys that, okay, also the binary structure of that. Okay, like this is a changelog.txt. It doesn't have, it has the things in plain text. So that's the reason it is just parsing that directly in the plain text format. Okay, similarly ABCD, now you got an idea like how you can kind of look at the things. So there are few things, few things which I wanted to kind of guys kind of quickly explain. Like one of the thing is that in this ABCD.exe, you see that there is a file called a zone identifier, right? It is something coming out from this file itself, and this is this is actually a very important artifact for the Windows operating system, okay, which is called as zone identifier. And what this zone identifier is that if you see, it is actually embedded in this exe file abc.abcd over here, okay. And if you see, if I click on this zone identifier, it gives me a value which says 3, okay. Similarly, if I click on kf.exe, if I click on this one, it says zone identifier, the ID is 3. So this ID is very important for you guys to kind of know whenever you are dealing with any kind of a malware case, or let's say any kind of system, and you want to figure out what are the softwares in this operating system, which, let's say, what are the files which were downloaded from the internet, So what you can do is that if I go to the zone over here, the zone identifier, let me just do zone. Okay, it seems that it should have actually that zone identifier somewhere. Let me just quickly see the jump list. Okay, so that yeah. So thing is that that zone identifier artifact should have been recorded by science in the browser activity, but it is something which they have not mentioned in the cheat sheet. So this is why, like, the cheat sheet is not complete, but it will give you at least like almost all the important ones, all the important artifacts. So thing is that, let's say a file was downloaded by an employee from the internet, and the browser activity artifacts are not there. Let's say all of these artifacts were deleted somehow by the employee, or let's say by the malware. Even in that case, you can figure out what files are downloaded from the internet. And one of the way to do that is by the zone identifier. I will be looking that in much more detail later, but for now, since this thing has came up, I'll quickly kind of cover this up right now itself. So what we do is that if I go to the over here, zone identifier, and Windows. Okay, and now thing is that
Sir, I have
every
a question.
yes, go on.
So actually, what is the main difference between CAPE and this FTK images? So, like, can we use one for the another, or like we need to use both the tools when doing the forensic analysis?
Yes, so CAPE is for artifact collection. You can also do that with FTK Imager. The only issue with FTK Imager is that there are few things. First, it will not, you can't specify what files you want to copy at one sense from FTK Imager. So let's say I want to copy MFT file, event logs, and few other things. I need to do that manually in the FTK Imager. Okay, so that's one thing. Okay, but in CAPE, all those files will be auto extracted for you. If you just mention that in one txt file, it will extract all those things automatically. You don't need to kind of interact with the GUI. So that's one thing. The FTK imager, normally the thing is that it is not used for extracting certain thing, but it is used for mounting certain things like images and all. We'll kind of quickly see. So let's say you have actually, let's say over here, for an example, I have, let's say I have, if I go over here and keep artifact section, you see the zip file is there. And in that zip file, you have this VHDX. To mount this file, this is where the FTK imager will be used. And mostly the FTK imager is normally used at the lab end, not at the user end, not at the employee or suspect system that we are kind of analyzing. Okay. But it is something mostly you can kind of used at the lab end to mount the images that we want to investigate. So for an example, the one that we want to investigate is this base image. So this base image, let's say you were investigating. So there's a story behind this is that, let's say there's a system which was compromised and you have a disk image out of that and you want to investigate that. Okay, so in that case you need to parse this image and showcase that image as a folder structure, what all folders are there. So for that will be using the FTK imager. Okay, so that's the reason why we are seeing the FTK imager. And also thing is like why do we need to kind of know about the FTK imager, how it will be kind of useful for us. Okay, but you can also use it for extracting certain files, but again it will be manual approach. It will be not like CAPE. And also you can't execute this FTK imager in a hidden mode, even though you want it, because it doesn't allow you to kind of achieve that functionality. Always like the thing is that the software needs to be installed, and anything you install, the employee will, in most of the cases, will get to know about that. And thing is again, it is all GUI, so you need to kind of it is there's no way to kind of hide this thing from the, let's say, the employee or so a lot of things are there. But you can also use it for extraction, but the extraction will be really difficult. You need to go through each file one by one, open the folder, get the file. So let's say I want to copy this file from the window host. I can right click over here and I can do export files. I can select computer, let's say the shared drive over here, like the CAPE artifact, and I will click OK. So it will say 0 folders, 1 file copied. If I go over here in this one, it will tell me that the cape.exe, abcd.exe was copied, right? So I hope I was able to answer your question. Is there any further clarification on this one? Why FTK imager and why, when FTK imager and when cape?
Yes, sir, it is clear.
Okay, okay. So now thing is that one thing I was kind of explaining because this artifact just came up, and this will be really needed even to when you'll be kind of investigating this image file. You will be encountering this zone identifier actually. Okay. Now the thing is that let's quickly see what this zone identifier is all about. Okay, so now the thing is, so here for an example, zone identifier is 3. Okay, so 3 actually means that